Over 50 million units sold worldwide since its debut. Enough vehicles to fill an enormous city. Because nobody accidentally sells a million cars, there is always a reason. None of these vehicles became. Welcome to Prime Machines TV. Today, we're discovering 5 of the best-selling cars in the world and the secrets behind their incredible success. Let's begin. What makes a car a global bestseller? Price, reliability, design, or something else? Stay until the end to find out. How many people bought them? Where they became unstoppable? What they cost? And most importantly, why? More than 1 million cars, not over a decade, not over 5 years, in a single year. Only a tiny number of vehicles have ever reached that level of global demand. But here's what's fascinating. The cars that achieved it couldn't be more different. One is an electric SUV that changed automotive history. Another is a Japanese family SUV built around reliability. One became perhaps the most recognizable car nameplate on Earth. And one is a massive American pickup whose success is concentrated so heavily in North America. Because nobody accidentally sells a million cars. There is always a reason. And number 1 accomplished something no fully electric vehicle had ever done before. Let's begin. Number 5, the Honda CR-V. In 2021, global rankings placed CR-V sales at roughly 900,000 units. Think about that number. That's roughly enough vehicles to fill an enormous city with nothing but CR-Vs. But here's the strange thing about the Honda CR-V. Ask someone to describe the most exciting car in the world, and this probably isn't the first vehicle they'll mention. And that's exactly why its success is so interesting. The CR-V doesn't need to be extreme. It wins by being useful. For millions of families, that's far more important. The formula is remarkably simple. Good interior space, a comfortable driving position, useful cargo capacity, reasonable efficiency, a reputation for reliability. North America became one of its most important markets. But China also played an enormous role in the CR-V story, including locally produced Honda crossover variants related to the same basic vehicle concept. And this reveals one of the secrets behind global automotive success. A manufacturer can't simply build a good car. It needs factories, dealerships, parts, and decades of trust. The CR-V also arrived at exactly the right moment. Around the world, consumers were abandoning traditional sedans and moving toward SUVs and crossovers. But our next vehicle took a completely different route to more than 1 million annual sales. Number 4. The Ford F-Series. In 2018, global F-Series sales reached approximately 1.08 million units. Yes, more than 1 million full-size pickup trucks in approximately 1 year. And here's what makes that number extraordinary. Unlike a Toyota Corolla or RAV4, the F-Series built much of its empire in North America, especially the United States. For decades, the F-Series has been one of the dominant forces in American vehicle sales. But why? Because calling an F-150 simply a pickup truck doesn't really explain what Ford created. For one buyer, it's a work tool. For another buyer, it's the family car. 4 doors, a huge cabin, modern technology, room for passengers. Then, there are luxury buyers. Move far enough up the range, and a pickup can offer comfort once associated almost exclusively with luxury sedans. That's the genius of the F-Series. Ford doesn't sell one truck to one type of person. It sells an entire ecosystem. One name, completely different customers. And that helps explain how a vehicle so closely associated with one region of the world could break through the million-unit barrier. But number 3 achieved something even more difficult. But why did so many people choose one? Trust. That's the word that defines the Corolla. Toyota built its reputation around vehicles expected to start every morning, survive years of commuting, remain relatively affordable to maintain, and eventually be sold to another owner who wanted exactly the same thing. Transportation without drama. Its global reach is another major advantage. North America, Asia, Europe, the Middle East, Latin America, Australia, Africa, recognized across completely different markets. But there's an important detail. The Corolla name has been used across different body styles and regional derivatives, and global databases don't always classify every version the same way. What isn't debatable is the scale of the Corolla phenomenon. More than 50 million cumulative sales by 2021. It became more than a model. It became a legend. But while Corolla built its empire over generations, our next vehicle represents the rise of the SUV. Number 2, the Toyota RAV4. To understand why the RAV4 became a global sales giant, look around almost any parking lot. SUV, SUV, another SUV. Decades ago, sedans dominated family transportation. Large SUVs were often heavy and truck-like. Toyota saw an opportunity. What if you could combine the elevated driving position people liked with something easier to drive every day? That idea helped create the RAV4. By 2024, the RAV4 had officially reclaimed its title as the best-selling vehicle on Earth. reaching approximately 1.187 million global sales. Why? Once again, balance. It's large enough for many families, but not enormous. Practical, but relatively easy to maneuver. Backed by Toyota's massive reputation. Then Toyota added another major weapon, hybrid technology. This is important. Millions of buyers want better fuel economy, but not everybody is ready to go fully electric. A RAV4 hybrid offers a middle ground. You drive it much like a conventional vehicle. The electrified system works automatically. No daily charging routine required. That combination became extremely powerful. The RAV4 became the automotive equivalent of a Swiss Army knife. It does so many things well that millions of people want it. Family car, commuter, road trip vehicle, urban SUV, one machine, many jobs. And then came Tesla. Number 1, Tesla Model Y. And this is where automotive history changed. Approximately 1.22 million Model Ys were sold globally in 2023. Sales increased roughly 64% compared with the previous year. And for the first time, a fully electric vehicle became the world's best-selling passenger vehicle. Think about how unlikely that would have sounded only a decade earlier. No gasoline engine, no century-old automotive brand, and yet, number 1. So how did Tesla do it? First, the Model Y arrived in exactly the right body style. A crossover SUV, the hottest major vehicle category in the world. It offered the elevated seating position buyers wanted, but combined them with an electric platform. Electric motors deliver torque instantly. It feels shockingly quick. Then technology, a huge central touchscreen, over-the-air software updates, an extremely minimalist interior, an ownership experience designed to feel different. But perhaps Tesla's greatest advantage was scale. Factories serving enormous markets, China, North America, Europe. Production increased, and suddenly, they were everywhere. There's also an important contradiction. The Model Y didn't dominate because everybody loved everything. Some criticized the minimalist controls or build quality consistency. But sales tell us something powerful. Enough consumers decided the advantages mattered more. Range, performance, charging infrastructure, and increasingly competitive pricing. Jado confirmed what once seemed impossible. The Tesla Model Y had reached the top. A fully electric vehicle was the best-selling passenger car in the world. That wasn't just a sales victory for Tesla. It was a warning to the entire automotive industry. The rules had changed. 5 vehicles, 5 completely different paths. The Honda CR-V proved practicality is a superpower. The F-Series showed that dominating, enormous region can compete with truly global vehicles. The Toyota Corolla turned trust into a legacy. The RAV4 arrived at the perfect intersection of SUV practicality and hybrid efficiency. And Tesla did the impossible. But here's the most interesting lesson. None of these vehicles became successful for exactly the same reason. People don't always buy the fastest or most beautiful car. They buy the vehicle that solves their problems. Reliability, space, capability, efficiency, technology, price, or simply trust. Which one are you taking? Tell us your choice in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. It's completely free. Subscribe to Prime Machines TV for more amazing videos.